Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Kamari Valentine here. Welcome to my podcast. And today it is my absolute joy. I'm so thrilled to introduce somebody who is extremely hard to introduce. It is Bridget Foliaki Davis, who is, oh my gosh, amongst many other things, an award-winning Kiwi chef. So one of our own, Kiwi chef, author of a great number of cookbooks, including one that is upcoming that I'm so excited to talk further about, and the creator of the magical Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, or BHK. And Bridget, has created an absolutely magical range of recipes focused on really healing the gut, really kind of creating healing from the inside out. And so, Bridget, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast.
Oh, you are far too generous, as always, Kumari. Far too generous. Look, it is not just a pleasure; it is an honor to be sitting on the same Zoom as you, because I have a great deal of respect for all the amazing things that
Oh,
you do and continue to do as well. So, thank you very much for even considering me. I'm
oh,
very honored.
that's so kind, as always, Bridget. So I thought actually, so we've got Christmassy things to talk about and your exciting cookbook, but I just wanted to um, make the link perhaps even more explicit. So many of the people tuning into my podcast have experienced, I say, wounds of childhood, right? Like
Mm.
adverse childhood events, and I really want to say we have experienced, because it's very hard to find somebody with a textbook perfect childhood. So we've all
Mm.
experienced different things that have shaped us. And when we
Mm.
experience adverse childhood effects, when we experience significant stress during that developmental period, it
Mm.
is associated with inflammation. And
Mm.
it is associated with a whole range of negative outcomes in life, a greater likelihood of struggling mental health wise, but also physically with chronic health issues. So, Bridget, um, uh, I noticed that a lot of people coming into Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, uh, that's a familiar concept. People are looking for help with inflammation, gut health. They're struggling physically and also psychologically. Is that right?
Yeah, we have the most incredible community, and we all are there to support each other and build each other up because we have all come from such diverse backgrounds, very diverse diets that have brought us towards wanting or looking or needing help. But there is some real commonality amongst this diverse community from all over the world, and it's so interesting that that the type of work that you do, Kamari, which is working with people who have had some trauma coming up through life, because it's one of the places that we all seem to have this commonality, this sort of this trauma that started way before we could impact it, right? And that is something that, especially when it comes to diet, it follows us through our adulthood, through onwards, and we find within Bridget's Healthy Kitchen that a lot of the driving causes of disease and illness and weight gain can be tied quite closely into the holding on to inflammation within our bodies. So yeah, and how that is affected by diet.
I love that you say, even though people lose incredible amounts of weight,
Yeah.
like there are people in the 30s club, 40s
Hmm.
club, 50
Hmm.
kilogram club.
Hmm.
I love that you say weight loss is a consequence of good health. I really
Yeah.
like that you prioritize. And in fact, you encourage people to put away the scales. You
Mm.
encourage people to look at non-weight metrics, because I,
Yes.
I think you're really getting at health on the inside follows on to health on the outside, or whatever that might look like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's, a lot of the community do come to BHK or Bridget's Healthy Kitchen for weight loss initially.
Mm.
And then after a bit of time, what they realize is that there's all these non-scale victories that they're having, which actually are outweighing the weight loss, so to speak. They're sort of like, "But I just feel better. I'm happier. I'm smiling more. I've got more energy. My clothes are fitting better." And the scales almost becomes, an offhanded, oh, I might weigh myself or not, right? Rather than being really laser focused on weight being, you know, being whether we feel good about ourselves or not.
Uh,
When you take away that pressure, that stress of the scales, we can then focus on what's really important, which is the improvement of our health and wanting to do more things and being able to do more things, which is, yeah, pretty exciting,
That
right?
leads me to two things. I think people might feel like they're missing out if we don't tell them that they can go to your beautiful, free, generous, wonderful corner of the internet, which is
Yeah.
Bridget's Healthy Kitchen on Facebook, where,
Yes.
Bridget, is it thousands of recipes, or do you think you've hit the next
Um,
level of like
there
multiples of recipes? Like there must be thousands of
are
free recipes.
thousands. There are thousands, and there's hundreds of YouTube videos as well, which is all the free elements. I want to give people as many opportunities as possible, as many options as possible to get the content, because I know it's what helped me to begin with when I didn't really know what to do with my health or my weight.
Mm.
What I found was that the internet is this wonderful place. It can be a little bit confusing, but this wonderful place of information, and a lot of that can be sourced, free. And we just want to have options. So yeah, we've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we've got all of these places, and we've also got a free recipe sharing website as well, Modkai, where people can just go to Modkai and get all the free recipes too.
I find Modkai really fantastic because if you've got an ingredient or a style or you just remember something like a slow cooker, you put that in and you get your
Mm.
thousands of
Yes.
recipes, which I
Yeah,
just
I'm
think is
prolific. I'm prolific, Kamari. I'm
you
actually,
are,
yes,
Bridget.
I am. You actually got me out of the kitchen this morning. You didn't get me out of. I happily stepped aside from the kitchen this morning. I've been in the kitchen since 6 o'clock this morning, recipe testing for the next Boost Camp meal plan. So I am, yeah, slightly prolific when it comes to recipe
You
creation.
are. And before I talk about boost camp problems, I want to just say that I don't know if I've told you this before, Bridget, but I feel like this podcast is testimony to your recipes, your general recipes, but your 28-day boost camp plan, your 28-day meal plan. Because in my first time of doing it, even
Mm,
with 4 kids and a baby who still doesn't sleep and owning my own work, my own business, the single biggest thing about Boost I find is that it helps me manage. So,
mm,
regardless of weight, regardless of anything else, I
mm.
always tell everyone that if it wasn't for Boost Camp, if it wasn't for you, my podcast wouldn't exist,
Oh,
but
wow.
also just managing day-to-day life would, I
Mm.
know, be not as good.
Isn't that crazy, right? Is that we now look to healthy food options as being our comfort blanket. This is what's going to get me through this next busy period, is I know I need to eat really well. I know, because I need the energy. I need to sleep as much as I can when we can. And so it's almost like there's a complete transformation, because what used to be very comforting is all the stuff that doesn't look after our body, right? All the stuff that doesn't give us sustained energy. And here we are going, we've got boost camp recipes. We know we're going to be okay. We
And
will survive.
on that note, Bridge, so Christmas is coming. What are your
Yes.
thoughts about Christmas stress? So people regard this as a stressful time of year, even though
Mm,
there's lots of magical aspects about it for many people, not all.
mhm,
And Christmas eating. Do you think the typical Christmas foods we think of when we think Christmas, especially here in the Western Hemisphere, do you
mhm.
think that they might have mental health effects?
Most definitely. Good food equals good mood. And
Yeah.
so when we're not putting the right nutrition into our bodies, and quite often when we're busy or we're feeling under a bit of stress, we can resort back to the more of the convenience type products. And they're not necessarily that good for our bodies, unfortunately. And one of the key drivers of that, and I really notice it throughout my journey, is that when I eat poorly, I feel poorly. And I'm
Mm.
speaking of that from a mental health perspective, is that I don't feel like I have as much pep in my step, or even sometimes even desire to do things that I would normally just go and do. So good food equals good mood, because the hormone responsible for just feeling good about the world, feeling chilled, feeling like you can handle what life is going to throw at you a little bit better. Well, that hormone resides in our gut, up to 90% of that hormone, that
So
neurotransmitter,
serotonin,
serotonin. That's correct.
so
Yeah,
spelling that out for people. So serotonin, one of the in an important, in fact, a
very.
targeted transmitter, um,
Mm.
targeted by pharmaceutical companies, targeted neurotransmitter,
Mhm.
90% is produced in the gut.
And the
And
gut.
Bridget, I love how you say it's actually one meal at a time. We don't have to
Yeah.
go all out and be
No.
all perfect and get
No.
everything right to
Yeah.
start seeing a difference mental health wise or body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes, it's about sort of just laser focusing on one thing rather
Mm,
than, and this is what worked for me as well, by the way, is rather than looking at the whole entire picture, because the picture was just overwhelming. I was like, wow, there's so much I need to do. My body's in such a bad place. My mental health is in such a bad place. Oh, it's so overwhelming. Where do I start? And I went, you know what? I'm just going to make my next meal a healthy one. And
mhm.
even at Christmas time, which can it compounds these moments, right, of stress, of pressure within our lives. Sometimes all I can do is just go, you know what? I'm just going to make sure I look after the next meal, because that's as far as I can
I love
plan
it,
it
Bridget.
at the moment.
I absolutely love it. And thinking more generally, Bridget, what are your thoughts about this typical Western diet? What are
Mm.
the issues with that, and what do you think it kind of leads to?
Well, I suppose we've just got to take a bit of a walk through the supermarkets at the moment, being pre-Christmas. We've passed Halloween, so of course the Christmas mince pies are in the supermarket, aren't they? And all the puddings and things are already for Christmas are in the supermarket. And if we look at, you just take that first walk, and because it's Christmas, those items are right at the very front of the store. As soon as you walk in the door, there's a display of Christmas pavlovas in a box, or Christmas cakes, or like the mince pies and stuff. And I think back, even let's go 40 years ago, when I was growing up, 40, 50 years ago, we would have Christmas and everything was made from scratch. There
Mm.
was no pre-made pavlovas. What the heck was that? Like, you want a pavlova, you had to make it. But now, we can just walk into the supermarket and we can buy the pavlova now and then serve it, what, in 6, 7 weeks' time, when Christmas Day is, because it actually can last that long. So we've taken this real uh, approach to food, which is, it's all about the convenience. I'm far too busy to do it myself. Whereas, what we need to do is take that step back and
Mm.
go, the most important thing I can do is actually cook things from scratch, rather than buying into that convenience. Like, I get it, we are so busy, and Christmas is the perfect example of how food manufacturers like, I've got the answer for you, right? I've got it. Don't worry about the ingredients, what's in it. I've got the answer for your time crunch.
And I just want to say that the three things you mentioned, mince pies, Christmas pudding, and pavlova, you actually have healthy blood sugar stabilizing or blood sugar
Absolutely.
non-spiking, gut
Yep.
healing. And
Yep.
I think all those three from memory are free recipes. At
Yeah,
least
they are.
two of the three
Yep.
are I know to be free.
100%. I
They're,
mean, they're some of my
they're there and
favorite
available.
foods. Yeah, they're some of my favorite foods. And I want to create versions that I could happily consume without guilt, because we carry enough guilt, let's be honest. We've got mother guilt, we've got work guilt, we've got kid guilt, we've got all this guilt. And then we have this guilt that we put on ourselves when it comes to eating or consuming at Christmas time, especially. So I wanted to create versions that I guilt free. eating, guilt-free cooking. So they're sugar-free, they're dairy-free, they're low in allergens, and also my favorite, they're anti-inflammatory.
Mm.
So as opposed to a lot of the convenience products being pro-inflammatory, which means we hold on to inflammation when we eat them. These are the types of treats like Christmas indulgences that are actually going to help us on our weight loss and health gain journey. Oh, you can't go
Isn't it
wrong.
crazy that you've created a diet in speech marks, everyone, because I think
Yes.
everyone knows my views about diets, that you've created a diet where you eat chocolate,
Yes. Oh, yes.
fruitcake. And speaking
Yes.
of eating, so Bridget, you have made these 28-day boost camps, and there is
Mm-hmm.
one coming up that'll take us through the Christmas
To Chris.
period.
Yeah.
I think what really astonished me was that it's more than a 28-day eating plan.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's also about improving your cooking game, presentation game. Um, it
Yeah.
it's and oh, an underlying thing that I feel is about really prioritizing caring about yourself. Because I think when you
Mm.
were talking about people going through this, the convenience thing, yes, it is convenient, but I think a lot of boosters start coming around to the idea that their health matters, like
Yeah.
the I matter, if you will.
Absolutely. I mean, there is that analogy that I just love to use, which is about putting on your oxygen mask
Mhm.
first, rather than trying to put on everyone else's oxygen mask. And by the time you get around to you, there's no oxygen left, right? So it's about prioritizing ourselves for a bit. Some people call it self-love, some people call it self-care. You call it whatever you want. It's actually about not being afraid or not feeling again that guilt that we put some time and energy into us. Because when we do that, that's when the magic really starts to happen, right? Because when we look after us, we feel better, we are doing, we have more energy, etc., etc. Our health is better. And when we feel better and we're doing the things that we want to do, we're able to help so many more people. And it's that sort of mentality. You help yourself first because you have no idea how your world's going to open up.
Bridget, I love how you say this way of eating keeps getting better and better. So,
It
how do people
does.
find out about Boost Camp? Is there anything else you would like to tell people about Boost
So
Camp?
as you said, Boost Camp is way more than just a 28-day meal plan and recipes, and everything comes, connected into the plan, the program that someone buys. There's also, of course, the community, which is how you and I stay connected online through our community, our Boost Campers.
And
But
it
there's
is such
also
a lovely community. It is an
wonderfully supportive.
absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful
They
community.
really are quite amazing. But there's also the aspect that Boost Camp is, which is about regaining our knowledge when it comes to how our bodies actually work, as opposed to, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. So there is a knowledge and a learning element to Boost Camp, and it's about changing our behaviors, one behavior at a time, one step at a time, as well as eating pretty good too. We eat pretty
So I think
well.
we should talk about Boost Camp problems, right? Or hashtag Boost Camp problems,
Yeah.
because I I think people initially feel very overwhelmed or can
Mm,
feel overwhelmed.
yes.
But this is um it's not quite what it seems. And
Mm,
you can really see your professional chef training in how you've set this up. Because
mm,
yes, there's a prep day which you could break up, but
mm.
actually you're then astonishingly sorted. So
Yes.
I love that you have sauces and marinades. It
Hmm.
really takes like a meal you would think of in a typical diet, and it elevates it to something better than you would see at a high quality restaurant. So
Mm.
there's
Boost
our
camp
second boost
problems.
camp problem, is that you
Yeah.
really start not finding eating out appealing. This is, I think, my biggest problem,
Yeah, we get
Bridget.
a bit fussy, don't we? We really do get a bit, but it's because we're used to, like, when you're filling your body full of flavor and nutrients and you're experiencing the results, it's really hard to turn away from that. You just want to keep on doing more of that. as opposed to doing something that doesn't give you flavor, that doesn't give you the results that you're looking for when it comes to your body. So yeah, boost camp problems.
And Bridget, I think that you are, so where do people go to sign up for Boost Camp?
So you can just go onto Google and you can firstly look for Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. I'm all over the place. You'll find me all over the place, whether it be on Facebook or one of the other social platforms, whether it be our website. But if you specifically want to, want a bit of guidance when it comes to this journey, this healthy journey and changing behaviors and eating delicious, you can go straight to the 28dayboostcamp.com and you will find us. And then you can come join me and Kamari in the community and have some fun.
Awesome. And I think, Bridget, you are the best advertisement for Boost Camp. And if it wasn't just your outward transformation, I think it is that astonishing productivity and this lovely, I'm so excited, cookbook. Is this cookbook number?
This is number 7, cookbook number 7
Wow,
in 7 years. Yeah, in 7 years. So again, prolific. I
and
love
by the way,
books,
we're
writing.
talking the complete cookbook because you also
Yeah.
have other lovely, generous booklets that are complete
Yes.
within themselves that
Yes.
you give as gifts.
Digital,
Just
yeah, ebooks
generally,
as well. Yeah.
so this is your book that people
This is
can
an actual
pre-order.
hard copy, hardcover book. And this is the exciting thing about cookbook number 7. Lucky number 7, every number is lucky as far as I'm concerned. Number 8 is going to be lucky as well. But cookbook number 7 is 100% Boost Camp approved recipes. So it's a really nice way for anyone who's just interested in eating a little bit healthier or wanting to just kind of experiment, like, are these recipes all that? Are they as good as she says they are? Then this is a really nice way to have something in your kitchen, because don't we love books? Having that physical copy of a book in your kitchen. 256 recipes, I
Wow,
believe,
Bridget.
in this book, and it's on pre-sale now from our website, bridgets.shop, which is my little store. But I'm putting it out here for the first time. First time ever, Kamari. You're the first one to know about this. I've been given a date when the books are going to be landed in Australia. The date is going to be very, very early January. The books will be starting to be sent out to everyone. Very
Fabulous.
sad.
So
Yeah.
that is
So,
an absolutely fantastic
yeah.
Christmas present.
Yeah.
People
Bridget's
can.
Healthy Delicious. I forgot to tell you what the name is. Bridget's Healthy Delicious is the name of the cookbook. Yeah.
That is awesome. And that's also really cool for people who have missed out on a previous boost camp. So often when we post
Yeah.
recipes, because you make exclusive recipes
For
just
Boost
for
Camp.
us
Just for
boosties. I
campus.
have no
Yes.
idea how you keep making it more and more magical, but you do. And so unfortunately, if you haven't been in a boost camp, there's a chance you miss out.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
this is the chance to.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that people do boost camp? I know I do, simply for fear of missing out on your
Yes.
recipe.
FOMO is real. Yes, no, we hear it all the time. They're like, I was going to miss skip this boost camp, and then I saw everyone's photos of their food, and I got to have that recipe. I've got to be, or I've got to just stay connected with the community, because I got to say one thing: when you start to become an experienced camper, it's a lot of fun staying within
It's
the
a lot
community
of fun.
and joining in and feeling good about your body. It's just, yeah,
The
it's hard to
comments
give
people
up.
give are very uplifting and kind.
They
And
are.
I really love that the focus very much is on uplifting.
Mm.
And it's not about minimizing anything. It's not
No,
about kind of pretending like we all have fabulous lives and
no, that's right.
photogenic kitchens.
God,
People are very
no.
real.
They are, and it is about being, sometimes, we don't feel that great. I mean, there's days when I wake up and I just think, oh my goodness, how am I going to manage today? And I find that the community are there to just give me a hug and say
Mm.
it's okay. And yes, it's hard work, but it is the most amazing work that we can do for ourselves. It's just incredible.
I love also, Bridget, that you're not about perfection. So I love
Mm-mm.
that you're very straight up about how we're not aiming to be 100% perfect
Mhm.
all the time, eating exactly this way.
Mm-mm.
It's more like once you know and learn and tune into your body, here is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
wonderful way with thousands of recipes
Mm-hmm.
will help. But I love that you also post about things like enjoying a delicious wine or a cheese.
Yeah,
Life
absolutely.
is for living.
Life is for living, and it's once again, we attach so much guilt to
Mm.
these pleasurable moments, and we shouldn't, because we can enjoy all these moments, because we know that there is this amazing way that we can eat most of the time. And for me, not 100%, not even close to 100% perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect diet. But there's definitely always looking at things that are either, not as failures, but as lessons as well. So I take everything as a lesson. I always fall forward, whereas I used to fall backwards all the time. Now I'm falling forward, right? I'm
I love
always in the direction.
in the intro pack, I love how you say, like when you're starting a boost camp, you say for return boosters, something like this, you say, welcome home.
Yeah,
That
it is
this
home,
way of
right?
eating is, it's not a diet, it's a
Mm,
lifestyle that is about a
mm,
whole lot of interrelated concepts, including taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people.
that's
And
right.
on that note, Bridget, so people can obviously buy Boost Camp one-on-one, your books
Yeah.
for themselves.
Yes.
Um, and you've also brought out a lovely product range that means people can do a one-stop shop, because I think
Yeah.
it's hard to source. Well, actually, it's not hard to source, but to really know the purity of things, you've gone
Yes.
kind of above and beyond to source
Mhm.
some really sound ingredients. So people can purchase these in a lovely bundle for other people for
Yeah, and you
Christmas.
said the magic word, because I remember a conversation we had not long ago. You said, "Wouldn't it be nice if there was bundles? So you just buy a boost bundle." And I was like, "Yes, Kamari." So we have bundles available, so you don't have to think about the products that you need to support your gut, support your journey, support your, just this transformation that the body's going through. We now do that in our store as well, Bridget's.shop, and it's pretty exciting that we also get to offer these products, these amazing, high quality, really pure products as well. And we source them from the best places in the world too.
And Bridget, congratulations on the
Thank
move to your new warehouse.
Oh,
So
yes.
that
Oh,
means
yes.
that you could do more.
Yeah,
And oh, in case people don't know, you're also a lovely family-based business. So when
we
people deal with
are.
you, they're dealing with you and your lovely family,
We
your
we are
whānau.
100% whānau business. We're quite fortunate. Our children, they all have skills that are very valuable for the business growth that is developing along with the business. So we've got our daughters, we've got our nieces working in the business as well. But this is a really cool thing. We also have my mother, who just turned 76. She is in our social channels customer care. And my husband Mahay's mum, who is 83, also works in the business as well. And she's on Facebook, just going in there and supporting people and
um,
encouraging people. Isn't it amazing?
Didn't
We're
Mahi say something about
multi-generations.
how his mum I'm trying to remember what he said about how mum was like this walking ad for Bridget's
Oh,
Healthy Kitchen. Because didn't you
yes.
say that both your mums, thank powered by BHK
They
Food,
certainly, they
are
certainly are.
very active
Yes,
and
very active. They're very active. So Mahay's mum, who's about turned 84, actually turns 84 in a couple of months. We had a meeting this morning with our two mums and the team, and she was telling us how about a week's time, she lives in Auckland. A week's time, she's got her church community coming over to her house so she can take them through her gut health garden. So she's got a garden,
I
and
love it.
she's going to wear a Bridget's Healthy Kitchen t-shirt. She's going to have a Bridget's Healthy Kitchen t-shirt on, and she's going to talk about her church community all about gut health and why she is getting, as she gets older,
That's
she's getting younger. She's going aging in reverse. Yeah, how cool is that?
That's utterly, utterly
Yeah,
amazing, and a testament, Bridget, not only to the powerful message that you
yeah.
give, but also the just the magical recipes that you've created for us. That I just
Thank
want to
you.
say, while there's beautiful things you can buy, really thoughtful Christmas gifts, I think for a person or people they love, there's just so much that is free that you have
Yes.
created.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah. I want.
just
I
so
want to
much
have
that is free.
I don't want to have too many barriers to entry. And sometimes entry is that one healthy meal, right? If you can just create one thing or transform one recipe for Christmas, like my sugar-free pavlova or my dairy and sugar-free Christmas cake, if you could just create one recipe, sometimes that's all we need to inspire us to eat the next healthy meal, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then you're on your way. You're on your way.
So why don't I, gosh, there's just so much that I feel we can go into, Bridget. Why don't I put you on the spot and ask you for some tips, say 3 tips for people going into the holiday season in relation to kind of inflammation, food is medicine, managing stress. Yeah.
Okay, so I think my favorite bit of advice for, especially for the holiday period, and this is a lot to do with managing stress, but we're not going to say you need to manage your stress this way. It's actually about what good food can do for our ability to handle a bit of stress and a little bit of, not so free flowing time, so to speak. And that would be that if you are to break down your plate. So imagine you're sitting in front of a dinner plate. So this is practical advice, right? You're sitting in front of your dinner plate, your breakfast, plate, or even your lunch plate. I want you to imagine that we can break that plate up into percentages. And this is one of the areas that we often struggle with when it comes to knowing what to eat. I'm not going to tell you exactly what should be on that plate, but what I am going to say is that if you make that plate at least 60% plants. So I'm talking about whatever plants may look like. And by the way, there's a lot of plants, right? Nuts and seeds are plants, herbs and spices are plants, different types of vegetables, some low sugar fruit like berries and citrus and watermelon. You make your plate 60 to 70% plants. I like to lean towards the 70%. And then I look at my protein next, and it might be chicken or fish or tofu or tempeh or salmon or whatever it might be, right? So you make your protein 20% of that plate, makeup of that plate, and then your healthy fats are your other kind of 10%. And they're things like avocado and olive oil and olives and things along those lines. So that's how I simplify it. I can't get any simpler than that, is eat more plants than anything else, and your gut is going to start to feel better. That's number one. You said 3, right? Number 2, if you think you're drinking enough water, drink more. Because we always tend to under consume or under measure how much water we should be drinking. Now, me personally, I drink about 4 liters of water a day. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I like it. I'm used to it. My body likes it. My skin is glowing. I'm hydrated. I'm happy, right? So drink more water is number 2. And number 3, rather than sort of fall into what could potentially be a day of not so good or great eating, plan it. Go, I know that come Christmas Day, I'm probably going to, eat a little bit more than normal and maybe have a few drinks. That's fine. Don't attach guilt to these special moments, because when we start attaching guilt to these moments, we start to lose what is actually the real reason for the season, so to speak, which is that getting together with family and friends and loved ones, or spending time, on your own, if that's what you want to do, spending time with your pets, whatever it might be, just enjoy the moment, right? Because there's always tomorrow that you can make that change and have that one healthy meal.
I love it, Bridget. That is just absolutely beautiful. So just a reminder, everyone, to simply look for BHK online, and that'll
Yeah.
set you in the right direction.
Right direction. Yeah.
So thank you so very, very much, Bridget. It's just, as always, wonderful to be with you. And thank you so much for all that generous information, your wonderful work that you do. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much, Mari. Absolute pleasure. Biggest Merry Christmas to you and your
Biggest
beautiful
Merry
family.
Christmas to you and your Fado too. Merry Christmas, and
Thanks,
everyone, Merry
Kamau.
Christmas from us.
Merry Christmas.
And thank you so much for listening to this. Tag a friend, share the link, share the love, and talk to you soon.